What to do when everything goes wrong with Spotify. And recently I've been talking about all the different problems that are happening on Spotify. And what I'd like to do today is really get hyper specific to if you have a problem, and hopefully we talk about it in this video, what to do. I'm a lawyer. This is what I do all the time dealing with Spotify. From your music has disappeared. Music is on the wrong profile, meaning someone else's stuff is on your profile. Your songs are on someone else's profile. Your stuff got hijacked. I mean, it's just a laundry list of all of the problems, and this is what I do. In the we've been covering how, for example, there's just impersonators that are hijacking independent artists' profiles. Streaming fraud is also a big one, as well as this artist page overlap kind of situation. So instead of outsourcing the problem, which you can do, all right, and if you're at that place with your business where you can outsource and have a lawyer come in and deal with the problem, beautiful. But if you're more of a DIYer, this video is for you. And in fact, this channel is dedicated to you, your music career, and helping you. So if that sounds good, make sure you subscribe right now. All right, so before I get to, really, it's going to be 3 of the most prevalent issues that I deal with as a lawyer. We're going to jump into those, but let me tell you where you start. No matter what your problem is with Spotify, you document everything. And so when I say document, it's like your artist dashboard, take screenshots. What's the dates and times that things happened? What are the URLs, right? For your stuff, for other people's stuff, if applicable. Document everything. You can even just put it in like an email, put it in a Word document. And then it's very important that you actually come up with a little paragraph. And this is going to save you so much time. So you have a paragraph summary, because what ends up happening is that I'm going to show you how you deal with this, but it ends up being that you have to explain your situation, usually to multiple different people. And so it will save you a headache to have everything nicely put together in your one paragraph that you will copy and paste. So write out your description, and then of course other stuff to have handy. It's just going to come up usually about what's the ISRC number, right? So what's like the barcode to your song? What's the UPC number? So if information like this comes up or questions are asked, all of this should be in your music distributor account. All right, so with all that context, let's go through the 3 biggest problems that we are running into when it comes to all things Spotify. The first is going to be the crossover or the hijacking of artists' profiles. Again, what could this be? Is it that someone is distributing music under your name? That's very important. And in fact, it happens so often. I have dealt with it so very much over many, many years. And this is just someone literally just pops on their music distributor, they send out their music, and they just put that they have your name. And so often there will be now various profiles with the same name or one that is very similar. And that actually is a problem. I'll explain why. But in literally what to do, here's what we're going to go through. On Spotify, there is a report illegal content form. And so what you do is you choose trademark in this situation because it has to do with the name, your name. And it could be your legal name. It could be an artist name that you use. But all of these things are your trademarks. And your trademark is what's called a source identifier. It's like how people know you. They literally don't know that it is Pepsi when they are drinking the thing unless you see the name on the bottle. So number 1, you're going to actually report it. And you always want to do this even with the additional methods that I'm going to walk you through, because I like to call it the spider effect. You want to try different avenues of resolution all at once, because whoever is fastest to respond to you and get it figured out, beautiful, right? But don't put all of your eggs in one basket and they never get back to you over here. All right, so you're going to file the form. And then what I want you to do is you're also going to send a formal notice. Now, this is where all your little homework that you did on having in the information, having the summary comes into play, because you're going to send an email, and the email is infringement-claim@spotify.com. So you're going to send an email directly to Spotify's legal department. And this isn't just a random email. This is literally the email that we use to contact Spotify's legal department. Okay, so this is the real deal. If that gets you excited, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up. And on top of that, what you're also going to do is you are going to trademark your name. If you haven't done this yet, this is going to make your life just so much easier, because actually the infringement of your name is going to happen not just on Spotify, but what about other music platforms? And what about social media? That is probably the place that we see the most infringement, because people just don't think about it. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought of this great name. And then they go and they start profiles using the name, and they don't understand that they can't do that if you were using the name first. The way that it works here in the United States is that whoever uses a trademark first has a priority claim. And so if you, in fact, were using it first and then other people are like, that's a great name, the way that you actually can get them to stop is with a little piece of paper called a trademark registration. And that trademark registration has a number to it. So what we do and what you're going to do is that when someone comes and actually infringes and you go and you file your form with Spotify, you email Spotify, you do all the things, you go, hey, I am the exclusive owner of this trademark registration number. And then you write out your number. And this is very powerful because we have been able to get profiles deleted like that just with having the registration. And if you don't have it just yet, it just makes it harder. Okay. So that's your pro tip on try to move forward to actually get the federal registration. And this is through uspto.gov. But I'm going to tell you, you really want to get a lawyer to help you with it because it is complicated. It takes like a year, but that trademark is one of the most valuable aspects of your career. So you should go and get it. That's number one. Number two on the biggest problems that we see with Spotify has to do with streaming fraud. Okay. And ding, ding, ding. If I just hit it for you watching, you go, oh yeah, that's my problem. So here's what you're going to do. The process with this is a tiny bit different. Do I still want you to reach out to Spotify and send them a support ticket? Yes. And in all these situations, you can do it through your Spotify for Artists account. And so you are going to, yes, send a support ticket, but at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to get much resolution through Spotify. Now, they're the ones who flagged you and they go, you are paying for fake streams, but actually you're going to have more success through your distributor, right? So being DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby. So what you want to do is that if you get flagged, you want to reach out to your distributor and you say, hey, again, here's all the information. Here's the release. Here's the summary of what happened. And then you can also offer other information. Now, here's some very key language I need you to include in your short message that you send to your distributor. I do not engage in pay for streams or third-party guaranteed streams. Please provide the detection evidence and restore the royalties and profile. So basically you go, I need help with this. I'm just going to cut to the chase and let you know that I'm not paying for fake streams. Please help. All right. So in our spider effect, we're going to message Spotify. We're going to hit up our music distributor. If it becomes an extreme situation, you got to get a lawyer to kind of kick down the door. You do that. But again, DIY, let's see what we can do to get it resolved. And then 3, the other really big category of just ongoing problems with Spotify has to do with unauthorized uploads, copyright infringement, right? So like fake albums. There's fake albums, there's fake recordings that are being posted to your profile without permission. But in the realm of just music, that's what I'm talking about. There's music either that you didn't give permission for. I had this actually happen to me. Someone did a little collab test thing and we never put it out. We never agreed to do anything with it. And then like years and years later, this person released it and didn't check with me. I'm like, no. But anyway, so there can be different situations. But if you ever have a problem with the music itself, then you can file what's called a DMCA notice. And so it's through the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. But anyway, DMCA, here's what you need to know. I'm going to give you the actual address that you can send this to. You're also going to send an email to infringement-claim@spotify.com. And here's what you got to include. This is actually required by the Copyright Act, which is you need to let them know, are you the owner? You want to let them know, right, that ISRC, UPC numbers that we were just talking about, you already have those handy. You want to give obviously a description of what happened, give links, be like, hey, here's like, if it applies, here's the original thing, here's the infringer thing, but like, explain, give them actual things they can go and listen to and look at. And then you verify, under penalty of perjury, you're like, this is the truth. So you go through that process. And then most of the time, these companies will be pretty responsive if you approach it in the proper legal fashion that is needed for a copyright infringement kind of situation. The cherry on top of what we literally do is you actually are going to go to the infringer's distributor. This is how you do it. This is the best hack ever. On YouTube, most of the time, if someone distributes something, their distributor puts a copy onto YouTube, right, with just the static cover art. But in the description, a lot of these distributors love to credit themselves. Distributed to YouTube by DistroKid. And so this is actually how you can figure out where an infringer is sending their music through. And why that matters is because then, guess what you do? You send your DMCA notice to DistroKid. And you go, hey, you're infringer, and you identify all the good stuff that I sent you. You're infringer, here's a link, I'm the owner, da-da-da-da-da. and you actually get them to go and take down the music. And then here are my pro tips, again, because we just do this every day, is that oftentimes distributors are not going to give you contact information to an infringer. The way you get it is that you go, okay, infringer's distributor, if you can, I would like to send this notice, if you can forward it to your client, to your user, can you please copy me? And most of the time they'll do that. So that's a way that you can actually get into contact with the infringer. Great thing. And then lastly, please get a copyright registration. So in the same kind of example with the trademark stuff, life gets easier in the same kind of way with all things copyright. If you get that piece of paper that says you're the owner, because now you file these forms, you claim all these things, and now you have a piece of paper that actually says you are the owner. Okay, so very important. Now, if you go, well, what about they just took down my album? What about it's an editorial problem? They have a problem with the actual words, the lyrics in my songs. They're claiming that my music was on a fake playlist. The list goes on of all the problems Spotify alleges you caused. So they just make your life miserable. But in any case, if you fall into any of those other categories, actually what you want to do is go back to what I suggested in number 2, which is you file the thing with Spotify, you identify the problem, but then you go to your distributor and you go, hey, they're claiming this, not the truth. I need your help. And then, like I said, if it ever truly does escalate to where you need someone to kick down the door, as I like to say, you need a shark to deal with a bully. Sometimes that bully is Spotify. Sharks are lawyers. And hopefully you can get one for yourself. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Tom Music Attorney.